I'm Sarah, nutritionist for Optimal Body Balance in the Naturopath Health Center. In this video, I'm going to show you an easy recipe for homemade meatballs and pasta. So I know it can be really easy to just buy pre-made meatballs and pre-made pasta sauce and just reheat everything. It's a great, quick, easy meal. But I'm going to show you a way to make it more nutrient dense and still have it be quick and easy. So these recipes use the fruit and vegetable purees that we talk about with picky eaters. So it hides the fruit and vegetables within foods your kids already like, so there isn't a big fight about including more fruits and vegetables in your child's diet. So we're going to start off with the homemade pasta sauce. I know it can be really nice just to open a jar and reheat it, but you want to make sure you're reading labels and there's not a lot of sugar in the pasta sauce or other ingredients you don't recognize. So if you are going to buy the jarred kind, make sure you read the labels really well. But I'm going to show you a recipe with just a few ingredients that's still quick and easy. So I've got all my ingredients here already. This is just a 1/4 cup of olive oil. We've got 1 yellow onion and 1 clove of garlic, and I've already chopped those up. A can of whole peeled tomatoes, and you don't want to drain this because you are going to be using the liquid in the sauce. A 6-ounce can of tomato paste, salt, pepper, and this is my fruit and vegetable puree, which I made a couple days ago and then froze. So I froze it in the correct portion size I would need, which is a 1/4 cup of the orange puree and a 1/4 cup of the white puree. So the orange has sweet potato and carrot, and the white has the cauliflower and zucchini. So I've already thawed it out and it's ready to go to just add to my recipe. So you can thaw these out ahead of time if you freeze them, or if you forget to thaw it out. Since it's such a small portion, it's really easy to just take the bag out and rinse it under some running water until it's soft enough to use. It will also thaw further when you add it to the sauce as you heat it. So I've got all my ingredients ready. I'm going to get set up over by the stove and show you how to make the sauce. Alright, so I've got my saucepan heating over medium heat. You want to make sure it's a deep saucepan and a large one so that you don't have any problem mixing up your sauce in it. I'm going to add my 1/4 cup of olive oil. And then I'm going to add my onions and garlic. And I want to cook those until they're translucent but not brown. So put those in. Make sure you get all that garlic in there. Alright. And with a little wooden spoon, just want to make sure you get all that coated up in the oil and mixed around. And I'll stir it a few times, but I'm just going to let it cook for a little while until it gets nice and translucent. Alright, my onions are looking ready. They're nice and soft and translucent. So I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients. Here's my purees. I'm just going to turn this bag inside out and dump them in. Get as much of that off of there as I can. I need my whole peeled tomatoes with the sauce. Just dump that whole thing in. Alright. And lastly, we need our 6-ounce can of tomato paste. Get that in there. Get that all mixed together. Try to break down that tomato paste a little. And then we're going to increase the heat and bring this to a boil. Once we bring it to a boil, we're going to lower the heat and simmer it for about 15 to 20 minutes. Alright, next you want to add the rest of your, more of your ingredients. So I have a 1/4 cup of wheat germ here, 1 egg that I've already beaten up, and a teaspoon of salt. I'm just going to mix that up. Alright, and lastly we're going to add in a pound of ground meat. I'm using ground turkey, but you could use ground beef or chicken or whatever else you prefer. And this is the part where you want to make sure you have clean hands, because you're going to mix it up with your hands, so make sure you've washed those. Here's a pound of meat. Put that right on there. It's kind of gross, but we're just going to smush it all up with our hands. That way you ensure that everything gets really incorporated well. Alright, and once you think everything is well incorporated, get all the ingredients off your hands. And these meatballs work best if you make them mini, which I also think is good for children. Children usually like mini things. You don't have to worry about them trying to put the whole meatball in their mouth. So just pinch off a few teaspoons and pack it into a little meatball shape. And then you want to have a parchment lined baking sheet nearby that you can just plop that little meatball down onto. If you don't have parchment, you can grease the baking sheet a little, but it's much easier, quicker, and cleaner to use parchment. So again, just make a little tiny meatball, 2-bite meatball, and plop them down on your parchment tray. And you're going to cook those at 350 for about 10 minutes, and then you'll want to flip them over and cook them another 10 minutes. So I will show you a shot of these once I get them all mini meatballed out and put on the parchment tray, so you can see about how many a pound of meat would make. So I have made, out of that pound of meat, almost 2 trays of meatballs, so they do make quite a few. Put my hand in there for size. You could make these even a little bit smaller. And so I'm just going to put these in the oven 10 minutes, flip them, 10 more minutes. And then I'll give you a look at what they look like when they're done. Okay, we're back to the pasta sauce. This was brought to a boil and then simmered for about 15 minutes, and then I removed it from the heat. And now what I'm going to do is use my handy dandy hand blender to puree it all up. You can also transfer this in batches to a blender to puree it. This hand blender is just easier and quicker. So again, just put it on in and I'm just going to puree everything up. Okay, so if you have kids that are really texture sensitive, you'll want to take the time to really puree this up well. If not, not as big of a deal. So I'm just would just season this with some salt and pepper and stir it up, and then your sauce is ready. So then you're just waiting for your meatballs to finish cooking. Then add your meatballs to the sauce and cook your pasta according to package directions and enjoy. Here are our finished meatballs straight out of the oven. We've already seen that the sauce is finished, so you can add these little guys right to your sauce and then serve them over a pasta of your choice. And without even knowing it, your kids will be eating cauliflower, zucchini, broccoli, blue kale, peas, sweet potato, and carrots. Enjoy!